Creatives, do not give up. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere. No! Hooked on phonics. You should get it.
Scratchy.
What? No, it's God. We trust that God will get us where we need to be. Welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Okay. Hello, guys.
Howdy.
Okay. Now.
What's up?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Really? Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Dressed Up for No Reason, episode 1. How many more of these are we gonna do?
I have no idea.
No clue. It's hot. This is Evelyn Clark.
Howdy. And this is Rodney Richards.
Her handle is
Eve Uplifting Souls.
at Rodney.Richards. Also, what's your legacy? Also, I think it's like Postman, Postmates, Postal, Alright, man, so normally I do this by myself. Obviously, got somebody else here.
Hey.
And I got on this jacket, and it may be too small because my thing keep coming out.
Though.
I mean, you're not supposed to wear it white after Labor Day, but...
Who cares?
Right, it's 2020. Do what you want. And speaking of doing what you want, let's talk about them folks in Israel and Judges.
Oof.
They was doing what they want.
Just like us.
Right? In those days, Israel had no king. This is like a common theme throughout like Judges, especially like chapter 18, chapter 17. And basically it's talking about how the people of Israel was out here just like doing what they want.
Wildin'.
So the beginning of verse 1, it talks about how the Danites were searching for a place of their own. Mm-hmm. I feel like a preacher for real. That just like took off his jacket. He's like, you know what? Sweating, right?
Hold on.
Thank you. Verse 1, the Israelites were seeking a place of their own. Those Israel was promised the land. What? Those Israel? Oh, those. Though Israel was in the promised land.
So though Israel was in the promised land.
Man, that was rough. The Danites were still nomads, unable to find land to settle in. It's interesting, the rest of 18, you see the Danites send spies to the land near, place of that.
Sidonians.
Oh, high five.
Hey.
I wouldn't have got that.
I just sounded it out.
All right. Hooked on phonics. You should get it. So they were near the Sidonians, a land that was easy to take because the people were unassuming. Yet the spies stopped at Micah's house. If you read chapter 18, you'll know who Micah is. And the house, because they heard a Levite, another Israelite. They asked the Levite, the priest, like, hey, can we take the land? He was like, yeah, God's with you. Even though him saying God's with you is kind of like a pastor only speaking good words. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, and never correcting you. But he was like, yeah, go ahead. So they go and see the land is good. They go like, bam, bam, bam. Oh, we about to take it. So then they go back to the crew and was like, yo, let's go and take this land.
Yeah.
But before they go and take the land, before they go and take the land, they stop at Micah's house. They take the appoint,
E-P-H-O-D.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
2 times. E-P-H-O-D. Why am I spelling it out?
I don't know.
The appoint, which was kind of like for priests used to use it to get like direction for God and things of that sort. Mm-hmm. Could be wrong. Don't quote me.
Google it.
Right? And then they took the Levite, who was the priest of Micah's house. Mm-hmm. Whole thing in itself. And then they took Micah's idols. And now we hear the Danites taking the Levite, making him their priest. And the Levite was happy to take a bigger role because it was more people, a bigger title. Think about jobs.
When you meet somebody, they're like, oh, what do you do?
Right?
And it's all based on your title. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. So that means you're a good person.
Right. So the Levite took a bigger role, yet God didn't appoint him, right? And even him being the priest of Micah's house, God didn't appoint him to do that because Corson talks about, John Corson in his commentary, talks about how that could only be, like a Levite could only appoint another Levite to be a priest. You get it, sister?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to touch your leg.
Oh, hold on.
I'm sorry, where'd you slip at? Somebody come get this girl a slip. She in the church just tempting your brothers. See, look at this knee. She's tempting y'all, brother? Is she
Ladies,
tempting you, brother?
if you want to wear a knee in the church, it's okay, but make sure your butt's covered.
Why you gotta cover your butt?
Because.
In the church?
Yeah.
Why would your butt be out in the church in the first place?
I don't know. People be out here.
With the cheeks?
Yes.
Cheeks is like
see-through dresses.
booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere.
Pastor, chill.
Not to mention that the Levite was out of order for being their priest, but the Danites, of course, they were out of order because they didn't destroy the idols. They took the idols with them.
Yeah.
As if to say, like, yo, we need all the help we can get.
Kind of strange. God sends you on task and then you take fake gods with you.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
But then, even that, God didn't send them on the task.
True.
Because what God sent them to, which we're getting to, high five. what God was sending them to.
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
Roma?
I wasn't ready. My throat was scratchy.
So basically, you made a good point. They were going into a new place, trying to go where God didn't call them to be. They were trying to take the idols, this priest, and then they were like, God, let's go. Follow us. Like, follow our will.
Kind of like it's like sometimes like we want something and we think it's good, but we're not consulting God on it. Instead, we're bringing our own will into it. Like we're asking man about it. We're asking everybody else. But you ain't asking God. That's the main person you need to ask.
That's real. They were basically like, yo, we need all the help we can get, so let's go. And when you get in like moments where it's like, I need all the help I can get, and you're not seeking God first, you can kind of see the problem, right?
Yeah, it should never feel like that. You should never have to feel like you have to do it in your own strength, you know?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. So speaking of good things, so there's this book that we've been reading, well, listening to, because you know, we audio books over here. Except she has a Kindle, but that's the whole thing. But
Kindles are awesome. We mad because you don't read.
Wow.
Read.
Wow. Wow. So we just throwing.
I'm just kidding, y'all. He reads.
Wow.
He reads. Audiobooks are awesome because you could be working and listen to the book.
What's the book called?
Hold on.
She over here acting. She acted.
It's called Counterfeit Gods, y'all.
Who's
It is by Timothy Keller.
I actually seen Jackie Hill Perry. She was talking about the book and just been like digging into it, and he's talking about like counterfeit gods, obviously. So talking about idols, and we often see like idols like money and sex and all these things, but even like good things like marriage and jobs and careers, and
even your children, loved ones, food.
Facts.
I have idols as food sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Food is amazing.
Left field. Even good things can be idols. And oftentimes, like being entrepreneurs, we look at things and like, yo, I want to reach this goal by this time and do this. And like we get so wrapped up in doing it into our own will. And like get super wrapped up into it that we forget to ask God, like, God, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Doing this? And not taking direction. So we look back at the Danites. And they're just like, yo, we need a new land. Because the land that God called us to, we ain't get it. And so then they tried all their will and doing things out of God's will and like and then saying, God, come on.
Yeah, we should have God throughout the process.
Facts.
Yeah, not just, okay, it's getting a little hard, God, I'm confused, let me bring you in now. You should have started the process with God and asked him where you wanted him to take you. Every step of the way. Yeah.
Facts.
And it's just like a conversation. It's like, God, what should I do today, you know? Like, literally start your day and just ask him.
Because even when you look at what you're talking about, like, it's not easy. So oftentimes we hear God calling us to do things. And oftentimes we think that it's going to be a instant win. And that it's going to be like God tells you to go left and you think you're going to go left and find a blessing because you went left. As we see the Danites, they took an L. God said go take this land and they couldn't do it. But we are supposed to take these L's and like learn from them, and not only learn from them but depend more on God. It's because for sure.
Yeah. Don't stop. And that's real though, the thing about like taking L's and like learning from it, because like when God even called me to my ministry and my business, at first I was like, okay, God called me to it, so basically I can sit back and everything's just gonna happen, you know, like I don't really have to do much. But when I first started, it was bad. Nobody was interested in it. It took me a lot of trial and error to get to where I'm at now, and I'm still not completely there, but I'm doing it with God, so it's so much more fulfilling. Because
oftentimes we think that there is going to make us happy, and it's more of the journey. Because as we're going through these things, or as she's like listening to God and like where he's directing her, she's learning to hear from his voice. Yeah. She's learning to follow him. She's learning, you know what I'm saying? And God wants us, first and foremost, not to be comfortable, but to become more like him. And we become more like him by reading, by praying, by like spending time with him. And when you're like looking and trying to
get to the end goal, you know, you're rushing to it. Because when you rush to the end goal and you get there, what's next? You know, like you're just, it's kind of empty. You're just like, all right, well, I have all this money. I have this goal that I set, this worldly goal, but then what's next? But if you do it with God, you learn so much along the way that you look back like, wow, I actually changed, or I became a better person, you know, or helped people along the way, you know?
Like the joy is in the journey. It's not in reaching the goal, because once you get there, like you said, it's like, so now. And like human beings, we are like creatures of wanting to conquer things. And then once we conquer them, then we get bored.
Yeah, and then we want to know what's next. And then it's just, I don't know about you guys, but it's unfulfilling.
Not to say, I'm still trying to reach these goals.
Yeah, but we're not trying to reach them in our own will and strength. Like I said, the most important thing too is just taking people along the journey with you and learning and developing yourself and your character. And you know, it's so awesome when you do it that way.
So let's do this.
What?
I know we're in our church clothes.
Going to church. Going to church.
I know we're in our church clothes, but we're going to take it out of church terms. When we're talking about will and strength, our culture is filled with team no sleep, team no days off. Like the people that have made it tell you they made it by not sleeping, taking no days off.
You don't want to work until your mental is messed up, because honestly, your mental health is so important. You know, I see people who just grind so hard that they're stressed out, they neglect their family, their friends, just to obtain this goal that they set in their mind is going to fulfill them or make them happy.
When you're grinding, it's cool. But also remember to get rest. Take time and spend with friends. Take time to spend with family.
Breathe.
Breathing. That is major.
Yeah, or just even little stretch breaks in between work. Go for a hike, explore nature. Yeah, those little things are not going to alter you from reaching your goal, you know?
And the reason why it's not going to alter you from reaching your goal, because we're believing in God to get us there ultimately. It's not in our hard work. Yes, working hard is essential. Like, yes, like you have to work. Faith without works is dead.
And God wants us to work, you know? God designed work.
So you have to work, but it's the point to where you start to overwork because you're trying to do it in your own. You're trying to say, I'm the master of my destiny. I can fulfill this. I am the one that manifests this. No, it's God. We trust that God will get us where we need to be, and He will help us get there. So we'll be faithful in working, but we won't neglect when He tells us to rest.
Yeah.
We won't neglect our family. We won't neglect all these things that are good.
Yeah.
Because you can, like the book talks about how you can take good things and make them idols.
Yeah.
What is he doing? If you don't know, Evelyn from Cleveland.
Not from Cleveland. Cali.
Evelyn from Cleveland.
Cali.
Don't throw up C's. We out here gang banging. What is...
Gang gang.
No gang gang. Jesus. Yeah.
Gang gang Jesus.
What? She dropped new merch a couple weeks ago. Not even.
New collection, y'all. But with that collection, let me explain. It took me, how long? I think it took me literally 6 months to develop this collection. And it's not because I procrastinated. It's not because of any of that thing. It's because I decided to do it different this time. I was like, okay, let me try doing it God's way and see what happens. You know, so.
But when you say God's way, what do you mean?
I just literally rested. Like, it's funny. I wanted to work the whole time. I wanted to work. I wanted to grind. I was like, I need money. Let me get it by any means possible. I just need some money, you know, struggle. Quarantine.
2020.
Yeah. I did all that, but the main thing that when I asked God and I prayed to Him, like, God, I want to do this your way, it's so crazy how everything changed. You know, it was like, bam, like, okay, you're going to start facing issues in your life that you never faced before. I'm going to throw challenges your way. I want you to develop your character and who you are, because my ministry is to uplift other women, but God kind of had to check me and was like, hey, how are you going to do that if you are running on empty, basically, you know? And I was running on empty. I had a lot of things I had to deal with, like mentally, physically, spiritually, you know? So I had to go through that journey first before God was like, okay, now you can start working to make the money. But the thing about God, which is dope, is I don't know how to explain it, you guys, but God comes through financially. He always comes through. Since I've taken this leap of entrepreneurship, my bills have never ceased to not get paid. And this isn't a gimmick like, oh, you know, God's gonna send you a check in the mail for $100. But God will always make a way to bless you, you know, when you are doing things His way. Yeah.
And sometimes even when we be out here slacking, you know what
I'm
saying?
Yeah, even when you're slacking.
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect to, like, if you slip up, you slip up. But and God is there to forgive. And I think oftentimes, like, as we've been reading through the Old Testament, we've seen how, because like growing up, especially in the church, we've always heard like the Old Testament God is like wrathful and he's like strikes you down
don't
dead.
Obey him, and then the next day he gonna just take away everything from you.
Right?
And,
And it's like, but when you read it, you see how like Israel, they kept falling off and coming back and falling off and coming back, but God was always there to pick them back up when they
started the chapters like, oh, and then the Israelites decided to do things their own way again.
Right.
And literally, if you go through the book of Judges, it says that maybe like 20 times, you know, and each time God's like, okay, basically the whole book of Judges is God making ways for Israel to still be blessed, you know, even though they're disobedient and they worship false gods. He literally appointed all these judges to help them conquer their enemies. You know, like that's love, you know, like God wasn't like, I'm angry with you and I'm not going to bless you, but he instead made a way, like even though they're not being obedient, he made a way for them to still like because he loved them, you know, he just made a way for them. You guys gotta read Judges. Judges is really good.
Fire. Yeah, so you don't have to be perfect, but pray and like trying to follow God is important, right? So when we're looking at this in a practical standpoint, like those that have felt like you've been called, like God has told you to do this or do that.
Yeah, tugging on your heart, you know, just a thought, a little tugging. Yeah, or like you know when you just wake up and you just have an idea and it's in your mind and it's out of nowhere, like take it to God. It might be from Him, you know. Right. But test it, you know.
Don't be out here like, ooh, God told me to sow $5 and I'm gonna get $5,000 by the end of the week. Nah, bro. Things that are just like kind of crazy. I mean, still go to God, but if he's talking about, if you have thoughts like kill George, like that's not from God.
Don't kill
you know
George.
What I'm saying?
Call 911.
Right? Like that's not. Someone please call 911. Come on, lyrics.
Somebody call 911.
What?
Shorty did it.
No.
How about that song?
Wyclef?
Yeah.
Someone please call 911.
Nah, I don't remember that song.
Tell me
I was thinking somebody call 911.
No. I think we're gonna end it right there because.
Oh, but I got something to say though.
What up?
My main thing is Christianity. Don't look at it from a standpoint of, oh, I have to act and walk and talk like these other Christian people. Because your walk is so unique and it's individual, you know? And it's more of a personal relationship that you have with Christ. So you don't have to prove nothing to nobody. You can just go in the privacy of your bedroom or your room and just talk to Jesus. Just be like, Lord, I want to get to know you. Who are you, you know? But I think sometimes we get a bad rap of like, we're just like these people who are just like constantly judging other people and putting them down and all this stuff. And we have our faults too. I mean, I judge, but it's not because I'm a Christian. It's just because I'm a flawed human being, you know? Don't be afraid to just give it a try, you know? Especially with everything going on right now. Like, just reach out and just talk to, just be like Jesus. You can just say his name and he'd be like, yo, I'm here. It's such a peace that comes with it, you know? And it shouldn't feel forced. It shouldn't feel like something you have to constantly be. It shouldn't feel computerized, you know? It should just be natural. And it's love, you know? It's literally a love that God has given us through Jesus.
Thanks. So, okay, you don't have to read the whole chapter. You don't have to read a whole chapter. It can be like, even if you read the verse of the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just like start making a practice of doing that. Even creatively, right? Creatives, huge with us. We're like, God told me to do this. We do it, it doesn't fail, or it doesn't do well, it fails. And then we're like, oh, I just give up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or you say God wasn't in it.
God could be in it, and he's teaching us through like our failures. You know what I'm saying? Like he's teaching us lessons through it all. Creatives, do not give up. Don't do it.
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 Honestly, don't give up. Like keep pushing, keep striving, keep going. Just know like the losses are not losses. They're just lessons that we're taking. Just keep fighting, keep pushing. And know that it's not in your own strength. Know that it is like we're depending on God to get us there. So hard work, yes, but we're not going to work ourselves to death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're not going to kill ourselves.
And when you are an entrepreneur and a creative, you got to remember too, you're your own boss in a way. I mean, God's the head, but like you are in control of your schedule and when you do things and when you don't, you know? And I know it's hard sometimes to grasp that, especially if you came from a 9-to-5 into entrepreneurship. But just know that it's okay to rest. It doesn't mean that you're not working hard enough. Or,
Facts.
you know, keep a schedule. You know, make a schedule that gives you time to rest, exercise, talk to people, socialize. All that is very important in the creative process, you know?
And even like for us entrepreneurs like myself to have a job, a 9-to-5 job, and then like when you work 12 hours for the men, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you come home and do your time towards your dream. You know what I'm saying? Because every entrepreneur can't be straight just like working for their passion at first. You know what I'm saying? So like work your job for the 9-to-5, come home and work too, and put in that same effort and that energy. But also you can take days off. Like you can work your 9-to-5. It's a long day. You don't feel like it. Like you don't have the energy to. And God is like, just rest.
It's okay to rest. It's okay to rest. We are giving you permission. Rest.
Thanks.
It's okay. I mean, don't over rest and just be eating some bonbons and watching Netflix.
Why would I say bonbon?
Because it's just like the thing.
What is a bonbon?
It's like you know those little hostess kind of things, the circle things, and they have the cream filled.
Like the black one with the little thing on top?
No, not the black one. The cream color one.
The brown one?
Drop a comment, because I don't know what a bonbon is.
I'm about to say, because you out here just
Because
making
I
stuff up.
remember when I was younger, everybody would be like, oh, bonbons, watching TV.
Y'all have had a bonbon?
What's a bonbon? I've heard it, but I don't know what it is.
I don't think we've ever had bonbons.
I don't think
By we, I mean black people. I've never seen a bonbon in my household.
I think I know y'all know a hostess. Hostess.
Why you keep throwing up gang signs? Y'all know.
Hostess. Hostess is the closest thing, I think, to a bonbon.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Drop a comment.
Why you keep telling people drop a comment?
Because it's fun.
We ain't lying.
Drop a comment.
Drop a comment.
Drop a comment right now. I need to know.
Drop one. Drop two.
I always wanted to say that.
If you drop a comment in the thank you. If you drop a comment in the comment section, you'll get 3 DMs from 3 DMs. I said 3 DMs from your 3. I said 3. I said 3. I said 3. 3 of your biggest crushes. Drop a comment. I need the. Can you give me the towel, sister? I said 3. Why you hitting me now? Wait a minute. I think we.
But drop a comment.
But drop a comment. I think we done, man. This is the first one. Thank you for taking the time to look and watch and have a good time. I mean, 3.
Yes, thank you for tuning in and listening.
But make sure y'all check out Evelyn from Cleveland, Eve Uplifting Souls. Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah, you know, yeah. So,
And
hey. So if you're watching it from my page, at Rodney Richards Photography.
No, it's just at
Rodney Richards.
Rodney.Richards.
But he does photography.
How you don't know my thing?
But you do photography.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yes. At Rodney Richards.
Richards.